Spike Lee had a very good weekend. Not only did his beloved New York Knicks win their first-round playoff series, but his new film, He Got Game, was #1 at the box office. The film stars Denzel Washington as the imprisoned father of the #1 high school basketball prospect in the nation. Here is a trailer.
Don't blow it.
Joining me now, the film's director, Spike Lee. You also wrote this. It's your idea. You're the producer of this. Your company is. And it's a Touchstone distribution
Disney
deal.
Picture.
Where'd you get the story?
Well, first of all, credit has to go to my beautiful wife, Tanya. She came up to me and said, Spike, you have to write another original screenplay.
Yeah.
I said, what do you mean? She said, I really haven't heard your voice in a while. You know, my voice. And I didn't say this to her, but I was thinking, what do you know? But then, you know, she was right. And I knew that, and I thought about it. So I haven't written an original screenplay since 90, and that was Jungle Fever. So once, with that prodding from Tanya, I said, I'm going to write a movie, my own script, and then I just finished the basketball book. And so it just fell into place that you know, He Got Game became the project.
Tell me the story.
The story is this. Jesus Shuttlesworth is the #1 high school basketball player in the nation, is a senior at Abraham Lincoln High School, which is in Coney Island. And the film takes place the week before he has to sign his letter of intent for the NC2A. This letter determines the high school seniors which school they're going to go to. Now, Jesus, with the God-given abilities that he has, being the best high school basketball player in the nation, he has a choice, the option of going directly to the pros. So this final week before he has to make that decision, he's being torn by 1 million directions, and everybody's trying to get a piece of him, his father included, played by Denzel Washington.
Roll tape. This says it better than anything. Here's an excerpt from the film.
Considerably.
Governor can do that? I mean,
He can do that.
I'm looking at 15, Warden. I mean, this is for real, right?
So there we have it. We're set up. We've got a relationship between Denzel Washington, the father, a strained relationship because his mother, the mother of Jesus, was killed by Denzel, the father, not in a malicious act, but in an accident, in a sense. Pushed her during a fight that had to do with the son and the relationship between the son and the father and basketball. So he gets a week to go convince the son, the #1 prospect in the country, to go to the governor's favorite college.
His alma mater.
His alma mater.
And of course, the son hates the father.
Because of his mother's death.
But also the way he was, I mean, he really feels that his father was abusing him, you know, out on the court, you know, trying to get him, even though his father thinks he had to do this to bring his game up to that level. Jesus still thinks that it was abusive.
Here's my question. Is this a movie really about basketball, or is this a movie about fathers and sons and the nature?
I'll expand that, Charles. I think this film is about parents and children, because it's not just sports dads. It could be stage mothers. I mean, it could be parents who are just pushing their children to be lawyers or doctors or ballerinas or ice skaters. I think all children need to be pushed by their parents. But at some point, pushing has to stop or becomes very harmful to the child. And in this film, Denzel's character crosses the line and it has consequences, deep consequences.
Because he killed his mother, or because the kid hates him because he pushed him so hard?
Both of those factors.
I think of Tiger Woods when you think of this story.
Right.
It evidently worked out okay, and clearly Tiger says he made me tough. He gave me a mental toughness that nobody else has.
I mean, but I don't know Tiger or Mr. Earl Woods, but who knows how they really feel about each other. Yeah. I mean, behind closed doors. So, you know, and as I said before, Denzel just, another thing you have to realize is that a lot of fathers always thought they could be in the major leagues. They could have played pro baseball, pro football, or play in the NBA. And 99% of these guys weren't good enough. But in their mind, if they didn't hurt their arm, if they didn't blow out their knee, or if they didn't get married, or had the kids hadn't come, if they had just a couple of breaks, they come in the pros, making all this money that these bums are making that they watch on television. So what's the next best thing they're going to do? If they have a son, my son's going to
Live
make
it through their son.
Why,
Give their son.
Why do fathers put a football in their son's crib to get the kids 1 day old? Or baseball or basketball? That's why they do it.
But do you think Andre Agassi or Tiger Woods or a lot of those kids regret it?
It's an individual question. Now, as I said earlier, that I think all children have to be pushed.
Right.
I'm just talking about there comes a point where I feel the parents have to step back. And in the case of, in this film,
Yeah, push too hard.
push too hard, way too hard.
How much of this is about your relationship with your father?
I think what the relation with my father really is one of sports in this film, because it is my father who gave me my love of sports at an early age. He was taking me to Old Garden to see ECAC college triple headers and the Knicks, and we would always throw a baseball. And he says he's a great athlete, and he instilled his love of sports to me. So it's really, this film, as far as our relationship goes, really goes more on the love I got of sports, not the conflict that we had later on in life.
But that conflict, and that tension
Right.
between your father and you, because he used to do the music,
Right.
you know,
The first
four films.
She's got to have his school days, Do the Right Thing, and Mo Better.
Do you two speak now?
Yeah, we speak now.
Are you just friends, though? I mean, it's not the same as it was.
No, I don't think it's not. It's going to be like that, but it's not going to be like that overnight, though.
You got to come back together.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
That had to have fed this film, even though you say what your father gave you was love of sports. It's the one father-son relationship you have, and it had to have fed this film somehow.
Well, I'm not I think that maybe if people want to analyze it, that might be there, but my subconscious, I mean, I wasn't consciously writing like that. It might be there subconsciously.
Was it a hard sell for Denzel to get him to do it?
No. It was funny because when I was writing the script, I really wasn't thinking about Denzel. Because the person who I kept thinking about is, who am I going to cast to play Jesus? Because I knew I had to get a ball player for the NBA to play Jesus. But once the script was finished, I knew Denzel was the person. So I called Denzel up, yo, D, I got the script. And Denzel's he's from Missouri to Show Me State. So you could say what you want, but it's unless it's on the page. So knowing that, I say, Denzel, I'm not going to say a lot. I got a role for you. I think you might like it. Send it to him, FedEx. Call back 2 days later. 2 days later, he said, yo, Spike, when do we go?
No negotiation about money at all. Just when do we go?
Money didn't come in. In fact, Denzel cut his fee
I'm sure he did.
to make this.
Because this is a $25 million film, right?
$23 million.
Okay, so he had to.
He had to. And this film would not have been made if Denzel was not a part of it. If Denzel didn't say, I want to do this film, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you now.
Because there was nobody else to do it?
It might have been, I don't think anybody else would get to finance it.
No, okay, so he brought in the bank.
Yes, he's bankable. And you see by this past weekend, Denzel opens a movie. And there's not that many guys can do that. Mel Gibson, Tom Cruise, Harrison Ford.
Why did you have to have an NBA player to play this important role of the son?
Because it would have been a riskier move getting an actor to show those skills that we needed on the court.
You chose Ray Allen.
Yes, I chose Ray Allen, but let me get to this first. The reason why a lot of basketball films, I think, fail is because they get actors to play basketball players. I think that you can get away with that somewhat in boxing films, baseball films, football films. But for basketball, you need somebody who can play. And there's no actor today I know that has skills like they could be, like they're pro material. It's just not possible. And if you don't have someone who could play like that, that means that it really contains how you shoot basketball sequences. We don't want to, Charlie. We don't have a movie where we see somebody shoot,
And then another shot shows you
and
going to the
then,
basket.
then the next shot's a ball going
It's
through
not a
the hoop.
triumph of editing, is what you're saying.
Can't do that. You know, where I sit, I would never hear, where I sit in the garden, I would never hear from all the guys in the league if I came with, with some BS that's not authentic.
Every one of them who was playing, he'd go shoot a shot and then stop by your seat on the way back and say, well, how could you do that, Spike? I mean, who are you kidding?
Because they say that with these films are made now.
Yeah. Speaking of that, you're not going to be on Reggie Miller's case when the Pacers come into the Garden, are you?
No. No.
You think the Knicks will win in what?
Oh, we're beating Indiana.
Huh? You beating Indiana?
We're beating them.
It's a better team than they've been in a while. And they got a terrific coach. And they...
Yeah, Larry Bird's done the job. But
how many games do you think it took them to get here? 4 games and they won. Pacers. They came, what?
They lost one.
Yeah, they lost one. So it was 4 games, 3
Yeah,
and
that's
1.
right. 3 out of 5 in
Right.
the first series. Look, we're beating Indiana. We're going to face Chicago in Eastern Conference Finals, which should have happened last year. In fact, that was the last time I was on your show. The game where the whole team was suspended. But that's all I'm looking forward to. I know can't look past Indiana, but I know we're going to beat them and play Chicago.
And can the Knicks beat Chicago?
I think we can.
You think
I thought
so?
we could beat them last year. If we had
Patrick comes back when? Game 2?
3, first game in the Garden.
Is that to be the game he comes back to?
Saturday and Sunday in the Garden.
That'll
Games
be
3
there.
and 4.
You're going to be there.
I'll be there.
Are you going after the second game of the Indiana game?
No.
No. All right, back to this movie.
Right.
Roll tape. Take a look at this clip and we'll come back. Here it is.
I don't know yet. I have to weigh my options.
You got any idea?
Like I told the rest of the world, I don't know yet.
I pray that you understand.
The music is Aaron Copland.
Right.
Why Aaron Copland? Great American composer.
One of the greatest, along with Duke Ellington. We just felt that Aaron's music would help lift this film up to where we want it to be. I've always been a big fan of his work, and I got the idea that instead of hiring a composer, I was going to go through his life works and pick out the stuff I felt would be appropriate for this film with the cooperation of the Aaron Copland Estate
Yeah.
and Sony Classics. They made it all possible.
Would you do anything different about this movie now that you know it's done well at the box office in its first weekend, that critics like it? I raise that question because one thing they say is that you had such a great story, father-son, a great story about almost the corruption of basketball in the recruitment of these high school phenoms.
I know where you're leading to.
Where am I leading?
Well,
You got too many side stories.
but I think people just have to realize that they look at my body of work. That's the way I tell a movie. I think the human brain has the capacity to follow more than one story. I don't see how we could have a character like Denzel Washington, who's been in prison 6.5 years and has a week out, and he's not going to try to get with the woman?
So you got to have it in there.
You got to. I mean, how can he be? He's been there 6 years. I know I've read some reviews. Well, Mila's character, what's it doing there?
She played a hooker who he falls for.
I think that it was needed, and this is not a new criticism. I feel that you could have stuff bouncing off each other. A film doesn't have to be just to be about one thing.
All right. You end. This is all about...
You can't give away the ending, though.
Oh, no, I'm going to give it away.
Okay.
You end with a climactic one-on-one.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, we talk about
Climactic one-on-one.
Right.
Denzel father thinks he might have a chance, but it's leaning against him that he's going to get his son to go to the college he wants him to go to, which is the
state.
governor's favorite college.
Yeah.
And so he comes to his son in the end, having gone through a lot of push and pull, learning had he pushed his son too much and how much his son hates him, and thinking his son is going to push it to him by not going to the college that he wants him to go to, and he'll be going back up to Attica, right?
Right.
So there's a climactic one-on-one. You found out in filming this that Denzel could hit the ball, right?
No, we always knew Denzel could play. Denzel played at Fordham on the JV team under coach P.J. Carlesimo.
Ah, right.
But anyway, in the script, Jesus pulls a win 11-0. That's the way it is in the script. But Denzel was like, That's not happening. I'm scoring at least one basket.
Now, would he have scored one basket against Ray Allen, an NBA player, if they were just going on one-on-one?
They were going one-on-one
Okay.
because Ray was not letting Denzel score. Ray says, I'm supposed to win 11-0. I'm playing hard.
Roll tape. Here it is.
It's one. That's the only basket you getting all game.
That was wide angle there, so you don't have any fooling around that. That's not a triumph of editing, huh?
They played hard. Denzel made some lucky shots. Ray got mad. And then but I think Denzel felt that as long as I score one basket, it's a moral victory. And he scored 5, actually.
All right, let me come to this thing, because you brought it up when you came in here.
Right.
Quentin Tarantino appeared on this show.
Right.
You heard about it, you asked to send you the tape, and you did not like what you heard, right?
Right.
Roll tape. This is Quentin Tarantino. I want to give Spike a chance to respond. Here it is.
And as a writer, I demand the right to write any character in the world that I want to write. And I demand the right to be them, I demand the right to think them, and I demand to tell the truth as I see they are. All right? And to say that I can't do that because I'm white, but the Hughes brothers can do that because they're black, that is racist. That is the heart of racism. I'm the maddest at the fact that he didn't call me personally. He talked to my partner, Lawrence, he talked to Harvey Weinstein, and then he went public, and he never called me about it, all right? And, you know, it's like, I don't want to, I just said what I said now. I'm not going to say it again about Spike Lee from here on in. The only time I'm going to talk about this again is if Spike calls me, and I'll talk to him directly about this.
There you are.
Well, first of all, there was really no need to talk to Quentin Tarantino because he doesn't listen. On the set of Crimson Tide, which he wrote a rewrite of, Denzel got in his ass about using the N-word. And my thing is this. I was not just talking about the 38 times he said in Jackie Brown. If you look at Quentin Tarantino's entire body of work, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, as I said before, True Romance, which he wrote and did not direct, this word is in his movies all the time. And another thing, I never said that Quentin Tarantino does not have the right to use that word. What I was objecting to is the excessive use of that word, the excessive use of the word.
You have made one terrific film.
Thank you.
It's as good a work as you have done, in my judgment. Maybe it's because I'm fascinated by father-son and I love basketball.
Well, you like hoop.
And I like hoop. But congratulations.
Thank you.
Spike Lee, he got game. Go see it. Back in a moment. Stay with us.